Tonight, in our coverage, a worldwide initiative for Palestinian self-determination begins Saturday in Turkey. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Elia Batul. U.S. President Donald Trump has declared that the U.S. does not need Canadian oil, gas, autos, or lumber. Speaking via video at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump criticized Canada's trade practices, calling them tough to deal with. He suggests again Canada could avoid tariffs by becoming a U.S. state and hinted at imposing sweeping 25% tariffs by February 1st. Canada supplies the majority of U.S. crude oil and natural gas imports, with $3.6 billion worth of goods crossing the border daily. The auto and forestry industries are also heavily tied to the U.S. trade. Experts warn such tariffs could devastate Canadian industries, causing job losses and potential factory closures. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has responded by pledging a strong gradual retaliation, including tariffs on U.S. goods like orange juice and bourbon. Canada's plan could escalate to cover over $110 billion in U.S. imports if necessary. Trudeau says a trade war could raise prices for American consumers and harm businesses on both sides. He is calling Canada a reliable partner and is urging Trump to consider the benefits of their existing trade relationship. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has announced a snap provincial election set for February 27th. The election was originally slated for June next year. It has been called now to secure a strong mandate to address the potential impact of U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods. Ford has warned that President Trump's proposed tariffs could cost Ontario 500,000 jobs and require billions in stimulus spending. Opposition leaders criticize the decision. Ontario New Democratic Party leader Merritt Stiles accuses Ford of playing politics, while Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie calls the decision reckless. Ford's party is rallying candidates and campaign managers this weekend to discuss strategy. This announcement comes as Ontarians deal with rising living costs. Ford has defended recent $200 rebate checks amid accusations of vote buying. Ford's progressive conservatives lead in recent polls with 46% support among decided voters. In comparison, Liberals have 22% support, while New Democratic Party has 19%. The U.S. will officially withdraw from the World Health Organization next January. The United Nations has confirmed receiving a formal letter from President Donald Trump 2 days ago to initiate the process. Trump has also ordered a halt on U.S. funding and resources to the organization. U.S. personnel working with the Global Health Agency have been recalled, and their participation in pandemic treaty negotiations has ceased. The U.S. contributes 18% of the organization's funding. It is the agency's largest donor, with $261 million funding in the past year alone. Experts warn this withdrawal will severely impact the organization's efforts to address global health crises, including pandemics and diseases. The organization expresses regret over the decision, emphasizing its role in protecting global health, including in the U.S. Trump accuses the organization of mishandling the COVID-19 pandemic. He first attempted withdrawal in 2020. That effort was reversed by President Joe Biden. Legal experts now question if Trump can withdraw without congressional approval. The U.S. joined the organization via a congressional act in 1948. Health experts and legal scholars are considering legal action to challenge the move. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to release all remaining classified files on the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. Trump describes the move as a long-awaited step to uncover the truth. He says everything will be revealed. The order requires a full declassified plan on Kennedy's files within 15 days and plans for the other two assassinations within 45 days. John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963 in Dallas remains a focal point of conspiracy theories. A Gallup poll conducted in 2023 shows 65% of Americans distrust the official account that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. Robert Kennedy had suggested CIA involvement in his uncle's and father's death. The subsequent assassination of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King in 1968 sparked decades of doubt. Martin King was killed in Memphis. James Earl Ray was convicted for his murder, but he was later recanted. Robert Kennedy was shot in Los Angeles by Sirhan Sirhan, who remains in prison. Critics, including John Kennedy's grandson Jack Schlossberg, accused Trump of politicizing the declassification. In the past, the U.S. government has released thousands of files. The National Archives has confirmed over 99% of John Kennedy's records have been disclosed. Israeli forces have escalated their military offensive in Jenin. This is the fourth consecutive day of violence in the occupied West Bank in Palestine. Israeli bulldozers have demolished infrastructure, homes, and businesses. Additional reinforcements have been deployed to the Jenin refugee camp. Local sources revealed that dozens of Palestinians have been detained and transferred to investigation centers. Palestinian officials have confirmed 12 fatalities since the start of the operation. More than 40 have been injured. Eyewitnesses report Israeli troops shooting and injuring a 65-year-old man. He was later rescued by medics from the Palestine Red Crescent Society. The United Nations report Israeli forces have killed 34 Palestinians, including 6 children, in the West Bank since January. Israel's military and intelligence service says they will carry out a series of operations in Jenin as Israel fights what it calls a multi-front war. Palestinian Health Ministry reports at least 873 civilians have been killed in the West Bank since October 7th. More than 6,700 have been injured. Meanwhile, Gaza remains devastated following the war that began in October last year. UN Relief Chief Tom Fletcher says at least 1 million children in Gaza urgently need mental health and psychosocial support for depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. U.S. media reports private American security contractors will monitor displaced Palestinians returning from southern Gaza to their homes in the north. Reports say the planned deployment is part of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 47,283 Palestinians. More than 111,000 have been injured. An international coalition opposing the occupation of Palestine will be launched this Saturday in Istanbul, Turkey. The event is organized by the Popular Conference for Palestinians Abroad. The initiative aims to affirm Palestinian right to self-determination and justice. The coalition plans to unite global efforts, hold Israel accountable for alleged genocide in Palestine, and amplify voices advocating for Palestinian rights. Sari Zaither, head of the forum's preparatory committee, describes the coalition as an umbrella for global solidarity efforts, including protests, parliamentary action, and media campaigns. Ziad Al-Alul, spokesperson for the Popular Conference, says the coalition's ultimate goal is to end the occupation and promote stability. Representatives from more than 50 countries will join this independent initiative to drive international pressure for Palestinian freedom. A new chain-link fence erected along the U.S.-Canada border in Delta, British Columbia, has sparked backlash. The 30-meter fence built near Point Roberts, Washington, blocks access between a shared park used by Canadians and Americans. Historically, the park serves as a meeting spot, especially during the pandemic when borders were closed. Delta police recommended the fence after a 2023 incident where a Sawasan senior inadvertently crossed into the U.S. and was later found dead. Acting Inspector James Sandberg says the fence aims to enhance public safety and prevent accidental crossings. However, Delta Mayor George Harvey and local councilors claim they were not consulted before the fence was built. Harvey criticizes its appearance, calling it unnecessary. Councillor Daniel Boitsford emphasizes the area's unique relationship with Point Roberts. arguing that signs and cameras already suffice to mark the border. Residents and former officials in Point Roberts also voiced disappointment. Some are concerned about the lack of community consultation, including with local First Nations. The timing of the fence, coinciding with increased U.S. border policies, has added to tensions. Harvey plans to address the issue with Delta Council, pushing for the fence's removal. January 29th marks the 7th anniversary of the Quebec City Mosque shooting. The day is now recognized as the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack and action against Islamophobia. The National Council of Canadian Muslims is urging everyone to join the hashtag Green Square campaign. The group is encouraging supporters to wear a small piece of green fabric on their labels to honor the victims and stand against rising Islamophobia. Green symbolizes the carpet of the mosque and the color of paradise. Monuments across Canada, including the British Columbia's Legislature, Edmonton's High-Level Bridge, and Toronto City Hall, will be lit green to show solidarity. Citizens are encouraged to ask local leaders what actions they are taking to prevent Islamophobic violence. The group says it is confident collective efforts will ensure tragedies like Quebec City or London, Ontario never happen again. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV.